My name is Kim Royer. I work for the Vermont Fish and Wildlife Department, and I am the Special Assistant to the Commissioner of Fish and Wildlife. I'm here to talk about BMPs, and BMPs are basically the best management practices for trapping, a scientific process for evaluating traps based on 5 different criteria. And those criteria are the first one, animal welfare, safety, selectivity, efficiency, and practicality. Does the trap that we're recommending actually work in the field? This BMP effort is the largest scientific trapping research effort in the world, and it began in 1992 and continues to this day. It was started by the Fur Bearer Conservation Working Group, which is part of the Association of Fish and Wildlife Agencies. In the 20-plus years that it's been going on, there's been a lot of successes, a lot of significant changes to trapping that will benefit the resource, that will benefit the public, and that will ensure that trapping continues into the future. This BMP process was a very scientifically based strict protocol, and trappers were out on the ground running trap lines. Observers went with them, documented the sets, and then any animals that were trapped were sent to one of 2 veterinarians in the country. The veterinarians actually did necropsies on every single animal and rated any injury that was related to the trapping incident. And if there was a major injury associated with trapping, then that meant the trap did not pass. If there were an accumulation of minor injuries, that could also result in the trap not passing the BMP process. The overall goal of the BMP process is to ensure that wildlife professionals and trappers are using state-of-the-art trapping systems to protect animal welfare, to promote sustainable populations of wildlife into the future, and to instill confidence in the public that we're actually using the best systems for trapping so we can continue to use trapping as a wildlife management tool.
I'm Rick Schoonover, professional trapper from southern Vermont. The live hold foot trap, foothold trap, leg hold trap, whatever you want to call it, is the most widely deployed animal capture device in the United States today. The reasons for it are basically very simple. It's lightweight, it's compact, it's relatively inexpensive because it's simple to manufacture, it's quite simple to use, and it's simple to teach somebody how to use it. BMP process has proven that it's very kind to animals if used correctly. It's also proved to be very efficient. Parts of a foothold trap are the base plate. But you notice the ends of the base plate are turned up with 2 holes in it, which allow the trap jaws to pivot, these being the trap jaws from side to side. It has a cross frame, and if you notice, it's also turned up at the end for the dog, which is part of the adjustment mechanism on here. You notice there's a nut and bolt arrangement in here, which allows for adjustment of the amount of pressure that it takes for this pan to go up, and especially down, because that's how this trap works. Tighten this up, you can get this to wherever you feel that you would like, probably anywhere from, say, a ½ pound all the way up to 7, 8, or 10, 12 pounds. And it helps with the selectivity of the trap. The trap jaws, of course, up through here, these trap jaws have been modified with extra width on them. You notice there's a spring pin right here because this trap is spring powered. The spring pin goes all the way through and allows for a pivot point for the spring levers, which are actually what brings the trap jaws up. I'll set this trap so you can see what it looks like in a set position. You notice on this particular trap where the trap jaws go all the way from side to side, pivot on there, there's a spring pressure from the spring going through the spring levers, and the only thing that's keeping that from firing is the dog, which is held with pressure from the springs. When you bring this down, as you put this in the ground, you have some sort of an attractor and the animal steps here. When it fires, this is what happens. Right now there is very little pressure against my hand because these springs are designed to put more pressure when the spring levers are down to here to get out of the ground. When they get up to this point here, They relax considerably. Mechanical advantage of the whole system means that this trap holds the animal without putting bone-crushing force against the animal's paw, or in this case, my hand. The thing that trappers have learned through the years is this trap is attached from the bottom of the trap chain and all these various parts. And the animal pulls this way, it pulls evenly. The trap is allowed to move with the animal, and in that case it will not harm the animal whatsoever. To do this, there's a swivel points down here which allows everything to move, a relatively short chain, 2 more swivel points in here, spring to absorb any shock from an animal pulling against it, another 1, 2, so there's 6 swivel points, and also a mechanism at the bottom to hold it, the trap and the whole system to the ground. Most states require trap tags, and that's exactly what this little piece right here is. It's a piece of copper with my name on it, so that anybody, a landowner, game warden, or whomever is interested in who this trap belongs to, my name and address is on that trap. In conclusion, with the BMP process proving that multiple swivels, shock springs, having the chain mechanism attached to the bottom of the trap, having offsets, having laminated jaws, having adjustable pan pressure in here, have all contributed to animal welfare and the ability for people to understand that trappers and trapping systems are both humane, effective, and selective.
So this BMP process has gone on for a long time and it continues today. And you've been involved almost since the beginning, Rick, correct? And
Yes, I actually
Yeah.
have, but the trappers started out with a lot of trepidation on this whole thing. You know, we weren't real comfortable with a lot of it, but when you look at what's come out of this, the fact that we have some scientific knowledge about just what injury scores are, things that we knew, but now the general public can look and see. There's a lot of new products have come out. The dog-proof trap, for one thing, which has revolutionized raccoon trapping. The fact of the value of some of the small things we do on this. But the big thing is that the public can go onto the websites, they can look at this, they can talk to trappers. You go out and ask permission, you can say, well, the traps I use are all BMP approved, and you know, there's a lot to that. Land that wasn't available before, when you start saying that, then all of a sudden we can manage more land, which is a big thing. And let's face it, any time that you get scientific help on the tools that you use is definitely a good thing.
right. I think it's been great to know how these relatively minor modifications actually reduce injury scores significantly, and that's as a result of many years of testing all these different kinds of traps with different kinds of modifications.
Absolutely. Things that a lot of the Western trappers, where they don't have a 24-hour check, had been doing these for years, and be able to prove that jaw lamination has cut down on injury scores, prove that offset jaw has cut down on injury scores, prove that even a simple thing like having your chain attached to the bottom so you're pulling straight on a trap, you can prove that. And that's huge when you start talking to basically a public that has no knowledge whatsoever of trapping and trappers. So.
Right, right.